episode of the Adeptus Ridiculous. My name is DK, and I feel like over the past 5 months, I think it's been 5 months, of doing the Adeptus Ridiculous podcast, I've learned a thing or two about a thing or two with Warhammer 40k from our resident expert Bricky. But before today's podcast gets going, if you enjoy the podcast, head on over to patreon.com/Adeptus Ridiculous, where you can get a ton of extra benefits, access to our Discord, bloopers if there are any. If you join the $15 tier, you get access to all of our digital HD posters, so you can have your big boobed goth waifu, or you can have your big blue weeb waifu who wants to step on you for the greater good. Anyway, if you enjoy the podcast, patreon.com/Adeptus Ridiculous. Bricky, do you want to tell the people about the book club and the merch?
That was the worst fucking intro I've ever heard.
Whoa, what?
I'd stop it with the goddamn blue waifu, Dark Eldar waifu bullshit.
I will not.
I'm not about this.
Yes, you started this.
Started what?
You started this.
What's this?
You told me, shill the posters. Tell the people about the Eldar and the Tau. Sell the posters, he says to me.
There's the thing called subtlety. Where'd it go?
Do you know who you're talking to? Subtlety?
Oh my god.
Comments. Tell him how subtle I am.
No, don't you understand? In the Warhammer 40k universe, you need to be subtle.
Oh!
What the hell am I shilling to get? Merchandise.
The merch and the book.
Check out merchandise at orchid8.com, or check it out in the description in the content creators section. Got cool stuff, shirts, hoodies, Doge Van Dyer stickers. Let's go, it's great.
It is.
And great. Also, people have been asking which. I said that we're doing Gaunt's Ghosts for the book club. People have been asking which, like, Gaunt's Ghosts or how many of them. I hate you all.
I mean, we only have a month to do it. We're not going to do 45 books.
I'm not going to make you read 40 books. Just the first one. Gaunt's Ghosts first and only. Just the first one, goddammit. I don't know why I have to explain this.
Yeah, but, I mean, we only have a month until the next book club. How are we going to get 45 of them? Like, there's no time.
Actually, you know what? I think we are grossly underestimating 40k players' free time.
Oh, really? You think they could get 45 done in a month?
It's not actually 45, but, like,
oh.
I was being hyperbolic.
Oh, my bad.
There are a lot, but no, not that many. And yes, I do think they could.
Shit. Okay.
Anyway,
so,
on that whole thing over, because we did the Infinite Divine, Gaunt's Ghosts, first and only, first one is the only one we're covering. DK, you don't know what you don't know what we're talking about. You never know what we're talking about.
I have no idea what today's episode is about, and I kind of love it. Like, I've been trying to guess in my head. Like, a part of me was like, oh, I bet, like, we've been talking, like, the Emperor's Children have been coming up a lot. That'd be super cool to do. I could see that happening. And I've been trying to roll around in my head what it's going to be.
Well, I'm so excited to crush your dreams, because that's not what we're doing today.
Nice.
Instead, we're doing on a topic that I've actually wanted to cover for quite a bit. We're doing the Schola Progenium.
Oh, what the fuck is that?
That's the response I was hoping for.
I don't even know. Like, is that a specific faction? Is that a device?
Nope.
Is that
nope?
What the fuck? Is that a person?
Nope.
What the fuck is a Schola Progenium? Is it a projector?
It's a school.
Oh. Okay.
Today, DK, you're getting your high school anime episode. If you wanted your high school anime, this is the one.
We get slice of life Warhammer 40k today.
We're getting a little slice of life Warhammer. If you want a little bit of about people in a school, you know, being taught things. You want a little bit of gender rules and a little bit of tension between men and women. You want a little bit of like an evil drill instructor. We got it. This is your anime episode, DK. You've finally done it. You've corrupted us. It's here.
Nice. I've done it. You're the anime now.
You're the anime now.
Now you're the anime.
Wow, Horus Lupercal. You finally defeated me. You truly are the anime now.
It's my favorite line in the Horus Heresy. I'm so glad you brought that up. Favorite line.
You didn't say that.
Yeah, he did.
So,
Should I put it on the screen? The quote is this there? Don't worry.
so the Schola Progenium. This is gonna be a shorter episode, but it's a fun topic.
Okay.
So this is a school. Legitimately, I'm not joking. This is a school,
Okay.
and the Schola Progenium is a division of the Adeptus Ministorum. Do you remember what the Ministorum is?
Refresh.
The ecclesiarchy,
Okay, gotcha.
the church.
Yeah, there's so many like Adeptus, Astarte names that like it all gets jumbled up. Like I get very confused over what like all of the names are. So thank you for the refresher about it being like the ecclesiarchy, the church. Got it.
Yeah, the all of our good Doge Van Dyer times.
Mm-hmm.
So the Schola Progenium is a special school. And now, normally in the Imperium, you have things called the Scholas, and the Scholas are like, my kid. Remember the librarian in Infinite and Divine? He was like, my kid's going to the Scholas, a good Schola. And it's like, oh, his kid's going to college or going to good school, you know.
Oh,
The Schola
right.
Progenium is a fancy pantsy one. It is entirely responsible for the upbringing and education of orphans. So predominantly those of nobles or officers in the Imperium that have died in service.
Ah, okay.
So like Imperial Navy or the Imperial Guard. So let's say you're a kid and your dad and mom went to go fight in the Guard and they both got devoured by a Tyranid. Now you're orphaned and you go to the Schola Progenium. You're picked up and you're sent.
Oh, okay.
Now,
So
normally,
your parents did the noble sacrifice for the Imperium, and now the Imperium is going to take care of you by putting you in this super prestigious school and training you and turning you into another peon for the Imperium.
Take care of you, huh?
Air quotes, take care.
They'll take care of you, all right. Don't you worry. They've got your back in more ways than one.
This is the Imperium, isn't it?
It is. So the children who come in there are known as the progena, as they're called the progena, whatever.
The progeny.
Now progeny, yeah. This generally goes like ages from 4 to 10 to 12 is the general recruitment range. Now gotta have a quote, gotta have a Bricky quote starting off, right?
Yep.
Death is not failure, for even death can bring glory. Fear is not failure, for fear can be conquered. The only known failure is to ignore orders, for even a slight hesitation in following them brings an ignoble end. The Liber Progenium, Volume 1. So,
yeah, that seems like an Imperium guideline. It's fine if you die. It's fine if you're a little scared, but god damn it, you'll follow my orders. That's
basically, you follow my orders regardless.
Yep.
So the sons and daughters of like dead Imperial officers or like an administrator that was lost in the warp, never to come back, then they were all taken, these orphans, and trained to become like the backbone of Imperial society and of Adeptus Terra. Just Terra is just like, it's lots of stuff. It's like Ministorum people. It's mainly like just the way, like scribes maybe, like lots of different kinds of stuff. Anyway, that whole thing, it's like the administratum is a good way to put it. The education they receive is like unparalleled compared to all other scholas in the Imperium. However, the cornerstone of this school is iron discipline.
Oh. This sounds bad. I don't like where this is going.
This is basically a labor camp combined with religious school. So when they first arrive, they get a gray thing of garb and are taught that the God Emperor has no use for lack of purpose or weakness. And pain is the illusion of an untrained mind. Your day-to-day involves correction, prayer, fasting, contemplation, and meditation. Those are the cornerstones of teaching. And it starts off with like basic literacy and theology of the Imperial Creed. Now, if you remember the Imperial Creed, that is the belief that the Emperor is a god. Right. Whereas the Imperial Truth is the one the Emperor did, where he's like, mankind is destined to rule the stars.
Yeah.
The Creed is the one that the Guardsmen and the Sisters tend to follow. So after you learn about the Kree, you go through history and politics. Then you get taught leadership skills, and they're taught by these guys known as drill abbots. Drill abbots are hardened military veterans that have spent half their life in military service, and then are after time are then ordained as priests. These are church-based imperial drill sergeants.
Yeah, and I would imagine these are hard motherfuckers. Like, if they've spent half their life in the military and they are still kicking, I would imagine they are they are not the most friendly people.
I mean, imagine a drill sergeant like from the military in real life, but instead throw it with the fact that they probably were like a guardsman or something and they survived, and
Ooh.
also they have a religious underfounding, like underbelly.
Oh man, that sounds
So-
like literally the worst.
It's not good.
I don't
it's
want to be
not-
friends with that guy.
Don't worry, he won't be your friend.
It's true. It's fucking true.
It's really rough.
Yeah.
So during the age of apostasy, remember those good times? Remember our lad, our boy, our goodest of boys who peed on the couch and by peeing on it was like, I'm so angry, I'm gonna commit exterminatus.
Yep. Our boy, our Doge boy.
Our good Doge boy.
Our good
Uh,
Doge boy.
The
Snickers.
School of Progenium during his reign was corrupted and rife with slavery.
Oh.
The orphans were often used as slave labor in factories and mines for the ecclesiarchy, and promising ones were sold as slaves and servants for commanders, with the most attractive ones becoming concubines for nobles.
Oh, I hate all of it.
Mhm.
This is going horribly. Oh, jeez.
We have to remind ourselves that our the Mr. Van Dyer man was really bad person.
Yeah, the mascot may be a cute, fluffy Doge, but what he is based on was not a good person at all. I really now regret saying that the Schola Progenium would take care of these people. Now I'm just like, oh boy, you might rather be an orphan on the streets just begging for scraps.
Ooh, Shai has arrived with a drill abbot quote. Quote, no, 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 by the throne, boy, how many times? Depress the loading cache before removing the drum feed, not while removing the drum feed. You'll jam the weapon. Smack. Oh, stop bawling, child. You're 10 years old. You should have learned basic autogun procedures by now. 50 press-ups and 50 Pax Imperiums, and certainly there will be no dinner.
Oh boy.
What's wrong, DK? What? You don't know how to properly reload a rifle in 2 seconds at 10 years old? What are you, a pussy?
And
Certainly there will be no dinner.
Yeah, 50 presses. What's a Pax Imperiums? Is that like some kind of pull up or some kind of like strenuous drill or something?
I don't know. Maybe it's a burpee or something. Or maybe it's like a prayer. Maybe it's like a lashing. I honestly don't know.
Oh, yeah, that would make sense. It was like a prayer or like 50 lashings, like while reciting holy scriptures or some shit, or like
self-flagellation or whatever.
Yeah, self-flagellation. That's the word I was looking for. But in my head, I was like, is that the right word, or am I going to a different, darker place? Anyway, go ahead.
Listen, kid. Listen, DK. You didn't fucking reload your last gun in time. Not in 10 seconds. Guess what? You lose all your sororitas feet for the rest of the night. All right.
Oh no!
No more sororitas feet.
Just kill me.
No, too bad. The Emperor has more use for you. All right. Now back into Conrad Kurtz's Screaming Gallery.
Oh God. We haven't told the people about the Screaming Gallery. Maybe one day we will, but that's a. All right. Anyway.
So, continuing Doge Van Dyer. I'm just gonna fucking call him Doge Van Dyer for now. I give up. The physically strongest went to the Fraterus Templars, which was that like militia he used to run. Of lots of guys, which eventually was removed from the decree passage to make it only like cannot have men under arms, which is why sororitas. Or the other physically stronger ones went to the Brides of the Emperor, making Doge Van Dyer's rule really strong because of course he's picked the best people.
Of course.
Now, during the school, they are actually segregated. The men and the women do not actually mix. They're completely segregated between the male dorms and the female dorms and all those areas, except for very religious ceremonies,
Yeah.
because they believe that they need to maintain purity. And
Yep.
if you're a horny fucking kid, well,
Yeah.
you know,
I was gonna say that makes sense for something that has so many like religious undertones and everything. It makes sense that they would separate by gender. And it's like male dorm, female dorm, no mixing, you impure bastards. So that makes sense to me. Yeah.
like I said, this is your anime high school thing. You know, anime protagonist just got finished getting whipped 50 times. He's a little bit
Oh.
of a defensive character. Walks past the door, looks out a slat of his dorm room, sees a sororitas trainee right there. Heart flutters. Then they have to sneak out together to see each other. It's there. It's there. The main villain is the drill abbot. You know, right there. He's like, I see you sneaking out. Uh, Imperium Kun. I'm gonna whip you. I don't
Imperium
I don't know how the fuck is what's the Imperium name? All their names are really weird shit. They're all like what's like a religious name like Jacob or something.
I don't know.
I don't know. Ezekiel Kun,
Paul.
get back in there.
Ezekiel Kun.
Oh no, don't do the accent.
And Elizabeth Chun.
No.
You brought this on yourself, man.
She's not the Virgin. She's the Virgin Mary. Her name is Mary. It has to be Mary.
Fair. Mary works. Mary works.
They came from the same planet that was like butt fucked by demons, and they both like share bonding trauma because both their parents got murdered by like Slanesh.
I mean, sure. I've seen more fucked up things in anime. Sure, that'll work. Yeah.
Unfortunately, as I continue talking about this place, this plot won't work, but we'll get there.
Oh no.
So there's a couple of things and areas that people normally go to in the Scholas. Now, a lot of them go to the Administratum of Adeptus Terra, and those are the ones that are like, okay, you're gonna become a scribe, or like maybe like a missionary, or I don't know, something like that, where you'll probably go work on logistics and administration, and then you'll die and no one will really remember you. You know, it's just like a classic like administrative duties, accounting. I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
Going there though, those that are a lot more in their martial leanings, a lot more combat oriented, because you do have a major amount of combat training as well as knowledge. Like you have your schools, but you were also drilled like a boot camp.
Yeah.
Now, some of them, mainly the males, are taken over to become Tempestus Scions. So if you remember the Ordo Tempestus, those are the fucking badass drop troopers that the guard have with the cool flaming red eyes.
Oh, right. I was gonna say Tempesta Scion sounds super duper familiar, and I can't remember what they are. But yeah, gotcha.
The Scions are grueling, are completely grueling in their training. They are trained to perfection. The death rate is like 70% on for the actual like training in its own right for a Tempestus Scion. These guys are like unquestionably. They even have like a stratagem in game where it's like unquestionable obedience, where in like an aura around a main character, none of them can run away from Morel because they're just that drilled. The Tempestus Scions, they're actually trained in a matter that is pretty damn intense, obviously.
Yeah.
But they're like they have trials of compliance. Is generally what they're known for.
Oh,
And
boy.
this involves live fire exercises in the hallucinarium.
Oh
which
no.
which
The name
is
speaks for itself, but go on.
it's an endless labyrinth where they are constantly exposed to strange visions and false suggestions, yet they are expected to follow the order of their superiors without hesitation or question, no matter how strange the orders might be, and no matter how monstrous the shit they're fighting. And then there are also timed physical tests, like scaling an entire facility while chanting the Schola Progenium's motto. And if they start to slip or they become out of sync, with the tempo of the servo skull near them, the cadet while climbing will have to start dealing with live gunfire.
Oh, jeez.
So they're like climbing a fucking skyscraper, being like, Jesus loves me, this I know, cause the Bible told me so. And then if they start fucking up and they get tired, like people start shooting at them.
Oh my god. So they don't eh, they don't choose to do this. They're like picked to do this, right? Like the best of the best are picked for this. It's not like they fucking volunteer for this shit.
Well, don't get me wrong. People who are brought an orphan to the Schola are not happy about being in the Schola.
Yeah.
But no, they're generally picked because they showed the greatest like physical
Right.
aptitude.
Oof. That makes it even worse because they probably don't even want this shit. You
Yeah,
have
well,
to.
well. So okay, so I should probably back this up a little bit because this is a little bit important.
Okay.
Um, there's this thing that they have called I think it's called the Cadet Forge. Well, that's one of the things they have. But there's a thing when they're brought, right? They're
Mhm.
brought in these giant like camps of people, huge, like because normally they have thousands of new recruits every year.
Mhm.
There's never a lack of orphans in the goddamn Imperium, right?
Right.
The thing that goes though is that they arrive with all their ranges of ages, of course, and
Right.
eventually it's kind of a little bit weird. Often, like a commissar, right, will be walking through a planet that just got fucked up, and they'll find like a son or a daughter that's like hiding in the corner, strewn amongst bodies,
Mhm.
and they'll take that kid and bring to the skull and like, oh wow, this kid survived. That's really important. Sometimes even commissars might take a prospective recruit. They'll go to like some backwater fucking back alley world,
And
and
just steal kids.
they'll find a kid that's really like has like a really high aptitude in like the sciences or maybe just knowledge, and they'll just take the kid away. And
Jesus.
sometimes the parents are still there, and they
Oh.
might not be okay with that, and the commissar might kill them in doing
Oh.
so.
Jeez.
There's
I would.
like your kid is better served in the Imperium of Man here instead of on this Detroit looking Cleveland ass planet.
And he just takes the kids, murders the parents. This is yoink. Then just takes the kid to the Schola Progenium.
Yep. And
Wow, that's fucked up. That's so fucked up.
yeah, I mean, hey man, the commas they need the imperial military to be staffed. You know, you gotta have those people.
Yeah, you gotta have those prospects. God
hmm Well,
damn.
often they are inducted in these large groups following like a planetary disaster or something.
Mm-hmm.
Though occasionally certain individuals are thrown into larger groups if it's more convenient. They undergo a series of mental and physical examinations. However, this is only for the facility because it makes it important that depending on how their planet got destroyed, you make sure you weed out the lesser minded. So
Okay.
they might not, in a confined, isolated complex, go crazy and kill other people.
Good call. That's a solid move on their part.
Probably
Okay.
probably a good idea. Like if they were messed up by demons on their planet and they have signs of corruption, they'll quickly escort them away from the other kids and quickly escort them into a grave
I was gonna say,
because
if they
yeah,
think that they've been corrupted by chaos, chances are that person is not living for much longer. Uh, let
the
alone being led into the school with the kids.
bring with the kids. You know, there's got a little Jimmy over there's got a slight problem with his head. He's growing fangs, but you know,
That's an
uh,
anime plot line, is if a corrupted kid got into the Schola Progenium and he's like the villain, and it's like, oh, he's infested by chaos, but he's kind of good heart, and oh, and then he becomes friends with the main character, and they're all best buds.
that's there's no way they wouldn't find him.
No way. Oh yeah, in actual 40, no way. Like he gets found and he gets executed and he gets put in like a mass grave or something. It would be awful. It would be
It
terrible.
would be very awful.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now one thing though that's interesting is that we're like Imperial Guard soldiers are tend to be made up of very different cultures. Like the Cadians and the Catachans and the Vostroyans, they're very different. The Progena do not get cultural variety.
Oh.
They come from different worlds, but they're quickly recast into the exact same mold It's a homogenous group that obliterates whatever culture they came from. They are given the exact same black uniform, equipment, training gear, and they're expected to. They abandon their birth names. They're forced to be given new names,
Oh.
generally chosen among a list of heroes from the Imperium, to have them like aspire to become who their new identity is. With the exception of a couple, siblings tend to show a very heavy like brotherhood and strong bond together.
Right.
So they'll often be like allow them to have their original names
Okay.
because it's
Gotcha.
important for them. Often whatever strengthens like brotherhood, like if they all came from one planet, they'll still have their old minds their old culture obliterated, but they might like stay together because the brotherhood between kids is more important in terms of making them stronger.
Makes a strong link, makes a strong soldier.
They also have things called mindscaping.
Oh God! Oh no!
This isn't always a thing they do, but they'll often strap them into an iron chair and then insert needles into the back of their skull and flood their head with a neurochemical fluid that cleanses their synapses of old memories and paves way for new information, allowing them to literally forget their old life.
Oh Jesus!
During this period of time, servo skulls will be spinning around them, screeching righteous speeches, war cries, or quotes from ecclesiarchal texts.
What? That sounds like some Clockwork Orange shit right there.
Is exactly what it is. It is full Clockwork Orange.
That's wild. Jesus. So I mean, if you were a commissar and you ganked a kid and murdered his parents right in front of him, that kid's probably not even gonna hold a grudge because he's gonna forget about it when you put in the forget me juice into the back of their skull.
The forget me juice. Juice that hurts your bones. Bone hurting juice. I got my forget me juice.
Come here, right into the back of the skull.
It's 4 p.m., honey. It's time for your forget me juice. Yes, Drill Abbott, by the Emperor's will. Instead of the it's 4 p.m. time for your whatever, and then the sad guy is just like the Chad image where it's like, yes, Emperor.
But this place sounds awful. Like God, it's
new brain bleach kills up to 97.9% of disturbing mental images. That's a great fucking photo, Shy, because this next part was literally it doesn't always work. Dreams and visions from previous existences will sometimes haunt the recruits. Like a scion may never like fully rid himself of his nightmarish visions of his homeworld or the death of his parents. And so, because of that, their forget me juice tends to be unquestioned.
Great.
You wanna hear some shit?
Sure. I mean, we're already knee deep in it. Why not get it up to the waist, right?
So sometimes a cadet will show too strong an unwillingness to conform, and often, as a reward for their impotence, they are released into the training grounds to be hunted down by their former comrades. This serves both to bond the other comrades and punish individuality. So sometimes if a cadet will publicly disobey orders, if a drill abbot says do this and they say no, often the drill abbot will take their hammer and immediately slam them directly into the student in front of everyone else. And they will shatter whatever remains of their spine and rip their spine out and put it in a glass box mounted on the dormitory to serve as a warning.
Holy shit. Holy shit.
That was Little Jimmy. Little Jimmy didn't want to climb the 4,000-foot wall with 2 broken legs while I was shooting him. And look, Little Jimmy is hanging on pretty well now, don't you think? Stapled to my fucking mantle.
Oh my God. Jeez. Who would disobey in that situation though? Like, you have got to know that if you're like, no, I don't want to do it, regardless of like if your legs are broken, you're gonna get killed anyway. Like, what kind of
Well, normally it's because whatever their prior life was so much better than the hell they're currently in, or they have corruption, or they're so
Oh.
incredibly traumatized that they gotta rise. I mean, eventually, like, people rise up all the time. These are kids.
Sure.
These are 9-year-olds
That's fair.
and stuff. And honestly, and sometimes, like, they think I would rather die than live another day in this hellhole.
Oh, so they'll do it on purpose because they're like, fuck this, I'm out. Like, just give me the sweet embrace of death.
Pretty much sometimes.
Gotcha.
That was also not the most extreme punishment. One time, a group, a whole year rose up against the dictates of their masters because their mindscaping chemicals didn't work properly.
Ugh.
And the Abbot Prime, which is like the main drill abbot,
Mhm.
ordered the Officio Perfectus, which is the commissars, to crush the rebellion. While the cadets were still alive, they were covered and buried alive with cement mix and mortar,
Oh my god.
and they were used to line the walls of the Schola with their bones jutting out, grasping for freedom. And they now line like the locker rooms with these like carbonated looking motherfuckers
Oh my god.
as a warning to consequence for insubordination.
This is the worst anime high school thing ever. This is the worst. This is terrible.
This is anime high school if it was ran by Guts.
Oh, it would be worse. if it was Guts, it'd be worse. It'd probably be worse. Well, no, maybe.
Actually, isn't Guts okay? Isn't it the other people
Guts is
that?
probably okay. Yeah.
Okay.
It's the stuff he's fighting that are bad.
Okay.
And he has to get as bad as them.
Okay, it's the horse then, whatever that horse is.
Yeah. This school is just like, yeah, imagine it's Berserk, but you're Casca.
Ha. DK. I liked it better when this was. I liked it better when the kids were in the walls.
That's horrible though. And can you imagine going into your locker room and being like, what's that on the wall? It's like, oh, those are the people that tried to rise up. That's them. It's like, oh.
The Night Lords would really like this place.
Oh yeah, they'd love it. They'd send their kids there for a summer retreat. Absolutely. Yeah.
A summer retreat. Like, hey, we're going to summer camp, kids. It's like, oh man, where do we go? All the Night Lords kids from Nostromo. Yeah. Like, where are we going? We're going to the Schola. Woo, let's go!
I can't wait to see the bodies in the locker room, Dad.
Let's go. I hope they've dimmed the lights since last time because it was really bright.
It's true. They would want the lights dim, wouldn't they?
So on another continuation, other things that happen in the Schola. The Officio Perfectus is also the Commissariatorium. Basically, commissars are also created in the Schola Progenium.
Okay.
Now you know what a commissar is. It's like one of the most iconic characters in 40K.
They're sort of like the leader. Well, I don't want to say leaders, but they're the ones that make sure that everybody's moving forward. If anyone tries to retreat, the commissar's like, no, you don't, and sort of keeps them in line. Unless you're the Krieg, which the commissar has to make sure they don't all rush off and die too quickly.
It's always so funny to me. But so the commissars here are very specific people. Only the really highly proficient members of the male group, some females as well, but very proficient and like unwavering discipline become commissars.
Mm-hmm.
Often in the trials of compliance, commissars will actually have a very interesting test. And without knowing it's a test, a cadet will be commanded to locate one of its closest colleagues, one of its best friends, and they were given a bolt pistol and told to shoot them in the head.
Oh, of course
now,
they are.
This execution shows a double purpose. One, it shows that the commissar can follow orders and have no problem killing a stubborn officer in the heat of battle.
Yeah.
But more particularly, it shows the danger of a stubborn commissar. So, naturally, a commissar that refuses will eventually be chosen to be shot for another commissar.
Oh, of course.
So often, like, it's your best buddy that you've hung out with for like 10 years in this school, and they give you a bolt pistol and they say, kill him. And the commissars that are like, by the Emperor's grace, bang, they're the ones like, good job. Good job.
done. Oh, we're so
Excellent
proud of you
job,
for
son.
murdering your friend for 10 years. Your best buddy. Well done. The Emperor's proud. It's like,
And if they don't do it, they give it to their best buddy and they're like, kill your friend.
what if they both say no? Has that ever happened where like they were
Then-
like, oh
then
yeah,
another
go kill your...
Then another commissar does it.
Oh, well, at
They're-
least then it
they'll-
might not be your best friend.
Or they go in the walls. I don't know, man. Like,
Or
something
they
will
go in the
happen.
walls. Throw them in the walls. These
They don't-
disobedient fuckers.
They don't want a waste of good talent, though, so they probably won't throw him in the walls immediately, but they'll find something
Yeah.
for him.
They'll find something horrific for them. Sure.
Though, at the same time, like, the whole commissar thing, obviously, they're very, very iron-willed people
Mhm.
with all of this stuff that they do. There's also a couple other things that you can become from the Skolas. You can become an officer of the Imperial Navy. So often the officers and generals that fly starships, those are the guys that come from there. They're pretty hardcore. There's, like I mentioned, the Ministratum people as well. There's a couple ones that are very interesting, though. Women normally almost always go into either the administration or the sororitas. Almost
Right.
all Adeptus Sororitas are from the Schola.
Oh, okay.
So almost every sororitas is originally orphaned, which I think feeds into the whole nun thing a little bit more too.
Definitely.
Like Celestine was an orphan. She was eventually taken by the Schola. She was trained. She was brought to the sororitas.
Okay.
Psychers are often either killed outright because they're too much of a problem, or they're given into the black ships to be sacrificed to the emperor.
Oh, right.
which-
Because he needs like 1,000 psychers a day to survive, right?
Yep. Or sometimes they disappear. They are either
Oh.
given to the Sisters of Silence, the blanks that the
Mhm.
custodians work with, or really sorry, let me rephrase that. Psychers might be trained well as an acolyte for the Inquisition.
Okay.
Or sometimes really proficient people might be trained for the Inquisition and become inquisitors. The Schola Progenium is where inquisitors come from, and these are like cream of the crop. These are creme de la creme. These are like the people.
The best.
It is probably the highest honor is to be inducted as an acolyte for an inquisitor, and where you serve under an inquisitor for some time and then could possibly become one yourself.
So that's a big deal. That's
It's a huge deal.
To become an inquisitor or potentially become one. That's a lot of power.
You have the most power in the entire Imperium, besides like the High Lords themselves.
Mm-hmm. Also, you said the some of the Psyker kids would get sent off to the Sisters of Silence. The blanks?
That was a mistake. That was me
Okay.
me saying that wrong.
Okay, I was gonna say, wouldn't that be bad for the kid? Wouldn't the kid immediately just fucking lose his goddamn mind? I was like, that's such torture. That's so evil. Like, why would you do that?
Often the Sisters of Silence are the ones who man the black ships to take the kids to the Emperor to die.
Gotcha.
That's what I meant. My bad.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. Now I'm like, man, these blanks are assholes. Like, oh, you can't find something to do with a Psyker? We'll take them. And it's like, oh no, why? You're so evil.
So
okay.
often sometimes blanks will arrive, and those blanks are then given to the Sisters of Silence.
Okay, gotcha.
Sometimes particularly proficient people or kids might just stop showing up. Sometimes these kids will just be going to the lunchroom or whatever, and they'll just not come back anymore. Like, where'd Johnny go? And like, Johnny he's gone. I don't know where he went. These kids are taken to the Officio Assassinorum, where they're trained to become assassins.
Okay.
Now that is hellish. They're generally taken on a ship with a bunch of other candidates, and on the journey over there, they tend to do all manner of horrible things to them. They'll increase the gravity of the room. They'll not give them any food. They literally do a battle royale.
Jeez.
Like, they're on the ship, they'll turn off life support sometimes, they'll lower the oxygen amount in the air, they'll increase gravity, they'll decrease gravity, they'll send like other servitors to try to kill them. They'll be forced to kill their friends. and
Oh,
like the 10 remaining most cunning people are the ones that will be inducted into training into the Officio Assassinorum. Um,
God.
I should make it very clear that the assassins are treated a lot better than the
Mhm.
kids in the school because these are really high level people,
Mhm.
and finding individuals of this power is rare, and they're a
Right.
little bit more careful with how quick they'll throw them into the walls.
Well, and like, well, why not treat them well? I mean, they were already on the battle royale ship, and they've already killed and slaughtered and been tortured. It's crazy. This damn school. It's like, oh yeah, this kid is showing great aptitude for being an assassin. Let's just yoink him, throw him in a ship, let them kill each other. Everything is just like, yeah, this kid looks like it might be good at doing this. Yoink! Throw him into new torture. It's Jesus. Like I was like initially like just the base uh school sounded bad, but God, it just gets so much worse. Everything is just it just keeps getting worse.
Yeah, yeah. Even school is grimdark in the grimdark
Yeah,
world.
the grimdark school is really grimdark.
There's a couple other this situations. We'll definitely do an episode on the assassins in their own right one day.
Mhm.
Um, but after like a certain period of time, going from each of the different sections of the scholas,
Mhm.
eventually you do get selection day, and
Oh
selection day is like
boy.
where you get to choose where you're going, or not choose,
Uh-huh.
but where you get sent. And that's like a pretty big deal depending on like who goes with where. It's like you are entering the Ordo Tempestus, and they're like, woohoo! I get to be a stormtrooper. Like,
Yay.
or you disappear and they're gone.
He just disappeared. Where'd Johnny go? I don't know. He's either dead or an assassin now. I don't fucking care.
Johnny's gone. Who knows where Johnny went? Johnny maybe he got whacked by a drill abbot. Who knows?
Who knows? Whatever. I didn't see any new spines on the abbot's door, so I don't think it was that. But you know.
So sometimes they're actually given over to the Adeptus Arbitus as well, which is like the military police,
Oh,
um,
okay.
which is kind of neat. They're basically a bunch of they look like goddamn 1984 fucking like dudes with giant maces. Like hello, I think Alpha Busa made a video, or it's like attention citizen, you have been filling your rat rations with sawdust. This is illegal under temple or fucking temple guideline 237-3. You have lost the right to your legs, and he like breaks their legs.
Oh God.
Goodbye,
sounds like
citizen.
sounds about right for this school though. That sounds about right. Yeah. Haha, funny meme, but it's like, yeah, that probably actually happened.
I should mention that the Adeptus Arbitus are literally Judge Dredd.
Ah. Okay.
They are literally Judge Dredd.
Literally.
Like they are literally Judge Dredd.
Oh God, yeah, they are literally Judge Dredd, aren't they?
Yes,
That
this
is
it
no
is.
joke. That's 1-to-1. That's Judge Dredd, basically.
It is full on Judge Dredd, even with the visor and the angry
Yeah,
face below.
yeah, that is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they operate as riot police. Yeah, RoboCop too. Yeah,
sure.
they also have cyber mastiffs, which I think actually that new Necromunda hired gun game had. It's like a robotic mastiff dog, and they use them to kill
Yeah.
people. Um, Luckily in 40K it actually works, unlike in the game.
Ooh,
Ooh.
shade. Haven't played it yet because I kept hearing everyone say it's like busted and broken and crashing all the time. So I'm giving it a few patches.
Yeah, a few patches might be a good idea.
Yeah, yeah.
Cyber mastiffs look cool though.
They are very
Um,
cool. Yep.
but yeah, so that's kind of the Schola Progenium. I think there's actually like a lot of pretty good lore that could be like created of this
Mm-hmm.
school, and there's a lot of awesome ideas that I think you could really make an actual decent story about growing up in the Schola. Say
Oh
say
yeah.
your drill abbot is a little bit less awful, um, and you're all from the same planet. You have that like brotherhood bond kind of
Oh yeah.
thing.
Sure.
If you really badly want to do that stupid thing where like, I only get to see my girlfriend from the planet on the religious ceremonies. I'm gonna sneak out with them. If you really want to do that bullshit, go to town. I mean shit. In my Night Lords novels, the slaves are even having sex. So if they can have sex, then by golly, they could do it.
By golly, they could do it. But you could easily make a Scola book. Easily. Without question.
It's got a lot of untapped potential with what you could do with it.
Sure. Hey, don't we know? Well, I don't know if we know him, but I follow Robert Rath on Twitter. He could easily write a great Scola book. Right?
Come on, Robert Rath.
Come on, Rob.
Turn your Mimi Necron book into literal concentration camp, fucking child labor, goddamn school. Come on, the tone is the exact same. You should have no issues.
Same, no issues whatsoever. Shy wants to play devil's advocate for the Scola, though. They don't do this horrible shit to these kids for the memes. They need genitals of steel and all the survival and weapons training they can possibly get to survive and not go insane on the battlefields of 40K. Which is true.
She's
it's a
right.
harsh world out there. Like, you do need the most severe training possible if you are even going to remotely have a chance at surviving fighting shit like chaos.
She is completely correct. That being said, still kind of fucked.
Yeah, I was gonna say, even still, pretty fucked up though.
Still a rough place. Even the schools in 40K want to kill you.
Yep, they sure do. And then just, throw your body on display as a warning because, hey, don't fuck up. Gotta kill you.
Oh, you sit down, you pray your prayers, you reload your lasgun on time, you drink your what'd you call it? Forgetty juice?
Yeah, forget me juice. Yep.
Your forget me juice. Drink your juice. Drink your juice, do your prayers, and don't get put into the wall. And hey, I mean, like, Scions are badass.
I feel like this could very easily turn into a Hulk Hogan meme, where it's like, his whole thing was say your prayers, eat your vitamins, and blah, 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 blah. It could very easily be turned into like a say your prayers, drink your forget-me juice, and for the Emperor.
For the Emperor. Hey, brother, get your forget-me juice. It's good. It gets big bones. Hell yeah, brother. Each.
22-inch pythons, brother.
Brother, I'm giving you 3 minutes, freak show. 3 minutes of playtime.
Brother.
Bone saw is ready.
That's the Macho Man.
I'm giving you 3 minutes to do what I say or you're going in the wall.
Brother.
Brother, I'm going to take away your sororitas feet pics.
This Sunday at WrestleMania, you're going in the wall if you don't say your prayers, brother.
Brother, I'm giving you 10 seconds to drink your forget-me juice, or I'm taking your spine, hanging it above my mantle.
This has gone completely off the rails, you're right. This has turned into a wrestling promo.
Macho Man Commissar Savage reported for duty. Ooh, the Emperor wills it, brother.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
I'm gonna take your spine out of your neck, and I'm gonna snap it like a Slim Jim.
Ooh, little Jimmy, here's a bolt pistol. Shoot your friend in the head. Oh, yeah, you want to become a commissar, don't you? Oh, yeah. You're not cutting this episode, Shy.
No,
this
you
is
don't
too
cut
good.
It down. We haven't done an outro yet. You can't cut this gold, brother.
Gold.
Gold.
We don't need gold where we're going because we're going to the Scola. Your parents are dead, kid.
Oh my God.
DK. Oh wait, I need to take us out, don't I?
Yeah, you take us.
Oh yeah.
Take us home, brother. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. All right. Thank you, brother, for watching this episode of Dexter's Ridiculous. My name is Bricky. You can find me at Bricky. DK, where can they find you?
You find me at DK Diamante's everywhere, brother. Except Instagram, because Instagram's chumps, brother.
You can find Quite Shy, Quite Shallow. Also, before we leave, we gotta shout out a couple patrons because they do really cool stuff.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Before I do my forget me juice and I forget to do Shy, post the names.
Going to break your back, make you humble. Put you in the camel clutch. That's Iron Sheik. Iron Sheik, baby. He's the best.
I prefer Iron Zelda.
Oh no, wrestling
Anyway,
heresy! How dare you?
anyway, we wanted to shout out because we had that one like ridiculously high Patreon tier where you just have like fat amounts of disposable income. So we felt like we should shout them out because we should be a little bit nice to people who don't have good financial sense.
What? Supporting Adeptus Ridiculous is the best financial decision. Patreon.com/Adeptus Ridiculous, brother.
Listening to That's Ridiculous isn't a good idea, brother. Techno Outlaw, Ender Cobra, and Sweet.
Too sweet.
Thanks, guys, really much. We actually really appreciate it.
You are fucking awesome. We couldn't do this without you.
Goodbye, brother.
Yeah. Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the Adeptus Ridiculous podcast. My name is DK, and in just mere moments, my co-host Bricky is going to tell us all about some ridiculous in Warhammer 40k. But before he does, if you enjoyed today's podcast, head over to patreon.com/Adeptus Ridiculous, where you can get access to our Discord, bloopers if they happen, really classy HD posters, and all that type of good stuff. So patreon.com/Adeptus Ridiculous, and Bricky, Merchant Book Club, I suppose.
Yes, the recent episode of the book club just came out on Blood Reaver. Check that one out. Obviously, we are jumping into the final book of the trilogy known as Void Stalker. I'm not sure if you've started yet, DK, but it's pretty good.
Mm-hmm. I'm about an hour in, so I've started.
Okay, pretty early. So it's pretty solid. And besides that, we have actually kind of sort of new merch. For the longest time, I was having a hard time getting black shirts and hoodies. I have black shirts and hoodies. So if you would like the classic white hoodie and white t-shirt, Adeptus Ridiculous, but you want them in black, they are now in black. So granted, it takes me a bit to get these shirts and hoodies because black is like the most common t-shirt color. So I would get them before they run out because we literally are out of dice. I have put in I have put in more in order, but it might take a bit. But the dice are all gone. So, you guys are pretty cool. So, just get that while you can. DK.
I guess you guys like dice. Good.
In terms of dice, we have no dice.
We have none of the dice. That's crazy. That's great. Thank you to everybody that picked up some dice.
Yeah, I have put it in an additional order, but it does take time for production.
Yeah.
So I have no idea when it'll arrive. Probably in a while. But, for those of you who got it, those of you who got it, let's go. DK,
Bricky,
do you have any guesses on what today's episode might be?
Oh God, I have no. Well, I'm gonna guess Iron Warriors because we've been talking a lot about Iron Warriors. I'm gonna tell you about Iron Warriors. Is Iron Warriors the one where Perturabo is a petulant man-child, or is that someone else? I think that's somebody else.
That is correct. That is the Perturabo Legion. However, that is not what we are discussing. We are talking about a wonderful video game known as Lawbreakers, made by Cliff Bleszinski, that died a early death, and I miss it so much. None of this relates to what we're talking about today.
Okay. So what are we talking about today?
We are having a totally different episode, and I think it's going to be pretty cool. We are talking about other Xenos races. Like the sloth. Like the sloth. No. Like non-playable... mostly non-playable other Xenos races in the lore.
Oh, that's cool. As soon as you mentioned sloth, my breakfast almost came up because, God, the sloth were very, very gross. I don't like the sloth. They make me very uncomfortable.
The maggot men are very gross. And I will admit, these ones here vary from gross to funny to totally terrifying, and in between. There are
Okay.
a lot of actual side races in Warhammer. Some of them died because Imperium, but
Of course.
there are also a couple other interesting ones. We even get to talk about Monkey.
Monkey? Like
Yeah,
literal,
Monkey.
like literal monkeys? Like,
You know, we'll start with that one because I wasn't sure if I was going to start with that one or not. There is
okay.
a wonderful Xenos race known as the Jokero.
Okay.
The Jokero are an intelligent alien species that look like orangutans. They are orange monkey.
Oh,
These are actually monkeys.
are we talking like Planet of the Apes? Like where they're like bipedal and like, oh, we're like super intelligent, or are they just like
That is an
orangutans?
official mini right there.
Oh my god.
That is an official Games Workshop mini known as the Jokero Weaponsmith.
Okay.
This is like a
He,
monkey.
he, yeah, he got some crazy cybernetics on him. Like he's got something on his back, and I think he's got like a, is that a cybernetic arm or a glove or?
I believe those things are known as digital weapons.
Oh.
They're like little weapons that you can kind of put in your fingers and hands, and then you can. I think like Marines occasionally use them too.
Okay.
Or he just has a digital as in digit, so like little lasers that come out of your fingies, your
Yeah, yeah,
phalanges.
yeah. Okay. Like
But no, they're
literal
not.
digits. Okay.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
they're not like a naturally evolved species. They were created by the old ones during the war in heaven, way back when, to be an
Okay.
intelligent race to aid them with fighting off the Necrons and the Catan at the time,
Ah.
along with the Eldar, the Quarks, now Orcs,
Yeah.
etc. They
Seems like
literally
the
just.
I was gonna say it seems like that's the whole reason the old ones ever made a race was to help fight off like the Necrons and the Catan and stuff. That seems
I
to be a big
mean,
reason for a lot of what they did.
Extinction is an incredibly good reason to be creating shit.
It's a good motivator, sure.
It's a great motivator. Jokero's main like trait is that they have really good skill at crafting advanced technology from really rudimentary parts. They're kind of like little monkey MacGyvers. You should
Huh.
know what MacGyver is. You're old.
Yeah, I wow. The fucking call out. What the fuck, man? I do know who MacGyver is, and I happen to love MacGyver. And my mom and my grandmom love MacGyver, okay?
Never mind. Point
It's
point being,
it is top tier boomer shit. Like it's
it's like chips.
literally it's what you watch with your grandparents.
Like it's always
That's
like
that's
it's
fairly
always
recent
Law and Order.
though.
It's always like Law and Order of some variety. Can you imagine like a variant of Law and Order, but they're using Inquisitors as the cops, and they walk in there and it plays like the dun dun noise as they just see like flayed flesh because all the Chukari were there and like, huh, I wonder who did this.
I would watch that show. I would
I would love
absolutely
that.
watch Inquisitor Law and Order where they're investigating Xenos horrific crimes by like the Dark Eldar. Yeah.
That that'd be or perhaps like they have like a chaos taint
Oh yeah.
on the ship, and one of them is like a heretic and he's been carving people up, and they walk in
Mm-hmm.
there, and then instead of putting glasses on they put on like an eyeball rig, and then they play like the really loud yeah music.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But they got to
it's
do a one-liner first though. If you're gonna do that meme, they got to have a one-liner, right?
well well Inquisitor Kamaragman, it sure seems like this ship is in chaos.
Yeah. We've done it. Top tier memes with Adeptus Ridiculous.
uh, Monkeys. Actually,
Monkeys, right,
wait a
right, right.
minute. The monkeys work with Inquisitors very often.
Oh, do they? So this
You can
all relates.
he could have like a monkey sidekick,
Oh,
and
nice.
he's like like ooh ah ah. It's like, oh my god. Oh my god. It looks like little Hank Jacaro here has found the Chaos guy. Pulls a sheet off the head. It was you. And he has like chaos carvings all over his face.
What I was kind of hoping was they go into the murder scene, right? And the monkey's there and the human's there and the human's like, oh, blah blah blah, and the monkey's like, ooh ooh, and he puts the shades on and he goes, ah ah, Yeah.
What's that? Eldar are stuck in the well?
Yeah, but an Inquisitor wouldn't go rescue an Eldar trapped
No,
in a well. They'd
exactly.
be like,
He's
an
gonna
Eldar's
toss a
trapped in a
grenade in
well.
there.
Good. Let him
He's
stay there.
he's gonna
Fuck him.
let me cement the well.
Yeah,
Let me
let's
let
fill
me
the well.
let me throw like a psych out grenade in there.
Oh, poor
Anyway,
Eldar.
that's enough of Jokero. They're monkeys. It's all right.
Yeah, and they make stuff, and they've got little digital laser finger things.
Yes, they're very intelligent monkeys that make things out of nothing. That makes them great. All right, let's do another one. Let's talk about something
right.
a little simpler. There's another humanoid-style species known as the Keimbrak, or Keimbrak,
Okay.
or something along those lines. They are a simian-like humanoid species that actually coexisted with this other human culture known as the Interrex. Now, you may not remember what the Interrex were.
I don't.
The Interrex were a highly, highly advanced subsector of humans that were separated after the Age of Strife.
Mm-hmm.
And then they actually ended up having really high level technology, but their technology was kind of sort of chaos based.
Oh, that's
And
not
so they were the ones who created the poisonous blade that actually stabbed Horus, that Erebus stole.
Oh, that was them that made that. Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
because Horus went and found their civilization and was like, "Hey," because he didn't really
Right.
know about chaos at the time, and
Mm.
Erebus was being conniving and stole the sword, and then they got into a big fight because someone stole the sword.
Fucking
Um,
Erebus.
but the Kindbrock were a group of the simian-like species that actually were kind of dying horribly, and they were actually saved by those Interrex people from extinction because
Oh,
I guess
okay.
their world was overpopulated or something. I don't know. I kind of see them as yeah, I kind of see them like the Drell in Mass Effect where the Hanar rescued them. They're mostly extinct now,
Okay.
which is unfortunate. Around during the Horus Heresy era, but they're still kind of around. So you might have a sort of alien kind of species guy that you might run into. Perhaps it could be a good thing for a book. But
Okay.
they're mostly gone. That was a smaller faction. There's this something a little more interesting. Enslavers, aptly
Oh
named.
boy, I wonder what they're all about.
Enslavers. Here, Bricky quote. Mark off your bingo.
Yeah, check it.
Call them what you will, Krell, sirens, or enslavers. Just one witch, unsanctioned, caused the destruction of Hive Scorpius when one of those things used her brain as a gateway to this world. Within
Oh.
3 days, the entire Hive's population was reduced to drooling mind slaves. Within 3 weeks, an entire continent was at war. And all because the governor thought his family should be exempt from the Psyker Cull and refused to give his daughter to the Black Ships. Inquisitor Malin, Ordo Xenos.
Oof. That's
So they're jellyfish boys. They're big brain boys.
yeah, that's big brain jellyfish and slaver boys. Oh, jeez, that's a lot of chaos to sow, in a very short amount of time.
Yes. A lot of chaos. And with
That is a
big brain
lot.
boys. The
Oh man.
enslavers, when I said they were known as sirens, they were being cheeky. It was Psyrens.
Ah ha ha.
Sirens.
Got it.
They're basically brain boy jellyfish. But they're actually native to the Immaterium. They're a psychic
Oh.
entity that's native to the warp, almost like its own form of fauna.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
and so what these things will do is find an unprotected psychic being and turn them into a living warp portal.
Oh.
And they'll puppeteer them in a weird way, and they'll eventually turn them into drooling mind slaves.
Yeah.
But eventually they can create them into turn them into a portal to let other of their jellyfish boys come out. And then they can start taking over psychically people in an area and then enslavers, hence the term.
Man, that they sound awful.
Little jellyfish boys. They got big old eyes and they're coming out to causing real issues. I think they actually were the reason the last old ones were killed.
Oh, really?
Yeah, let me see. The so-called enslaver plague that was unleashed millions of years ago led to the downfall of the ancient and highly advanced intelligent species not now known as the Old Ones.
Huh.
They kind of put the final nail in the coffin.
Yeah. When when you said they were like they latch onto your brain, all I can picture for these guys, even though we've been calling them like jellyfish boys, all I can picture is a Futurama brain slug. That's it.
That's a pretty good one. I was thinking of the brain bug from Starship Troopers, and he gets his brain sucked out.
I know I've seen Starship Troopers, but I don't remember a bug sucking out brains.
It was like a really big buggy boy. It was actually quite. It looked like an anus.
Oh. Thanks for that image. I just posted a gif of that thing's like anus mouth like right close up, and it makes me very not happy that I ate breakfast this morning.
That's a little
Oh,
gross.
oh boy, that's a lot of gross. Yeah.
So let's talk furries.
What a transition. Let's go. All right, let's talk about furries.
All right. So the next one we have here is called the Saharduin. I guess this is
Okay.
more so a scaly. I'm not sure the exact term, but they're an amphibian xenos that have gills, erect posture, four webbed limbs, and a finned
Hmm.
tail. They're known as the
Okay, cool.
Piscean warriors. They have little wave blade swords and rifles that are kind of like bolters, and they
Okay.
carry backpacks that are connected by tubes to like their gills, probably to allow them to survive outside of water.
Makes
Now
sense.
they got absolutely curb stomped by the real furries, known as the Space Wolf Legion, Space
Oh, fuck
Wolves,
the space wolves.
and so they got their ass slapped. But the planets of the Saharduin remain mainly unexplored and pretty dark.
Huh.
They fought against them every so often. The White Scars fought against them actually at some point in like
Oh.
modern 40k time.
Hmm.
But yeah, there's not much on these guys at all. But they're basically like little scaly fish furry dudes.
Yeah, they're
You know,
called what, the Piscean? Did you say?
they're called the Saharduin or
Oh, so okay.
Saharduin.
Yeah, well, it's just because Shy posted a picture and it was like Piscean warrior, and I was like, wait, I was like, that makes sense because Pisces is a fish.
She also posted a second picture.
Well, okay, yep, that's okay, yeah, that makes sense. That's a very Shy thing to post.
You know, that's the weird thing is that we're always considered the problem people, but then Shy does this shit, and it's like,
Yeah, this is why Shy finds us boring, is because compared to the shit that she's into, we're hella normie, dude.
yeah, and we're also
That's why she's
old.
always bored by us. Well, yeah, yeah.
Let's talk about the Dark Angels, not the vampires.
Oh,
The
I
Dark
wanted
Angels.
Chaos Vampires.
Uh, the Dark Angels. So we still haven't talked about Dark Angels yet. Perhaps I'm waiting a while just to make them angry. Same thing with Blood Angels fans, because they
Wow.
asked me for a Blood Angels episode almost on the daily, and I just kind of giggle at them and enjoy their
Really,
pain
on the daily? I
pretty
I do want
often.
to I do want a Blood Angels episode because I find them to be very cool. I thought Sanguinius was super dope. So I too am anxiously awaiting a Blood Angels episode. So I'm right there with you, people that bother Bricky Daily.
Well, don't bother Bricky Daily, please. But that's Blood Angels, DK,
Yeah,
not
yeah,
Dark
not Dark
Angels.
Angels. Right.
Blood Angels. We'll get there eventually. Maybe I'll do them
Mm-hmm.
last to spite them. Who knows? Um,
The last episode of Adeptus Ridiculous is
the
Blood Angels.
final one, our outro, our last episode before we retire.
We've covered everything in 40K. 40K has announced they're going out of business. We've covered everything. Our finale episode will be on the Blood Angels.
So these guys are called the Watchers in the Dark.
That's a
The
cool name.
It's a really cool name. They're kind of weird. I would. They're not the same as this, but I would have them look a lot like what you'd imagine Hound would look like in the Night Lords trilogy.
Oh.
They're very small, teeny little kind of Jawa looking attendants.
Okay,
They're
okay.
just like they're very tiny little mini humans, little people down there, and they are always hooded. You could barely ever see their features. They are almost entirely covered up. And they're a strange little like humanoid race that are native to their lost world known as Caliban. And they inhabit the Rock, which is a fortress monastery for the Dark Angels. And you know about a fortress monastery now. They did that with the Marines errant.
Yeah. I know. Oh boy, the Marines errant got fucked.
They did. But they're these tiny little hooded attendants, and they go around high-ranking warriors of the Dark Angels, and they're just kind of a mystery. No one really knows what's underneath the robes. No one, like, even the little guys are kind of unknown to the Dark Angels themselves. They don't know what they are. Sometimes they think there might be some kind of unknown Xenos creature, a servitor construct. No one really knows what they are. And during the Great Crusade, a knight by the name of Zahariel, he became a librarian, and he first encountered them on a quest. And they've been there on Caliban for God knows how long. And it's weird, these little bastards, because they just do things for the Dark Angels. They haunt the lower levels of the Rock. They like kind of haunt and walk around the bottom levels, and they're completely silent, and they bear weapons, they carry gear, sometimes they like do little sermons and read books, but they're nearly impervious to damage.
Whoa, really?
They seem to be immune to violence or anything psychic, like completely immune to psychic powers. In fact, I think in the tabletop, you can use a Watcher in the Dark to deny the witch to cancel a psychic power.
That's pretty good. Like, those are pretty good little servants to have.
Yeah, but they're just like, they're so tiny. Look how big that sword is in his hand.
That's true, but if you could like retrofit them with like tiny weapons and like actually send them out, like if they're like immune to violence and damage and psychers,
as far as they know.
Wow, that's true. That's true.
They probably don't punch really hard.
Yeah, probably not. So, well, I mean, you don't know. Under all those robes, it could just be muscle, and it's just muscle, right? So when they hit you, it could be like, you know, a little wrecking
Watcher
ball.
in the Dark, Randy Savage. I'm giving you 3 minutes, Azrael.
He lives in the Rock, right? Dwayne.
He lives in the Rock,
right? If you smell. Anyway, I don't know.
Dwayne the Watcher in the Rock.
The Watcher in the Rock.
Yes, like the Dark Angels are walking around and they just have this like really buff small guy down beneath them. Like hey, Chapter Master Azrael, my Watcher seems to be a little weird, and like the robes are fucking skin tight, and it's just like gains. Pure gains.
0% body fat, 100% muscle. He's literally carrying around a space marine.
He looks like Stewie in that episode of Family Guy when he like takes steroids and he gets really buff.
Yeah, really ripped. Yeah. So wait, why did these little dudes serve the Dark Angels? Like, are they being paid? Are they profiting off this somehow, or is it just we like being subservient? Like, what's their shtick?
Don't know.
Oh, it's just a thing. These are our servants.
They're just there. It is said the Watchers in the Dark are the heralds of troubled times ahead. That's it. They're just kind of there, and they just kind of help.
Oh, okay. Happy little helpers. Although so there's a picture that Chai sent. That's a Dark Angel next to one of these Watchers in the Dark. Aren't Space Marines like 9 feet tall, 10 feet tall?
Yes. I would be careful with which of the. Oh no, I think Firstborn Space Marines are like 7.5 feet.
Oh, okay. Because I was gonna say that Watcher from the Dark still comes up to about his waist, so that Watcher's still like what, 5 foot at least?
Maybe a little small. Maybe like 4 feet.
Oh, okay.
Give or take.
By our standards, they're not that small, right? Like they're about the size of a normie human. Maybe shorter than average normie human, but you know.
Maybe like a 9-year-old. Definitely not that tall comparatively, because if you think about it, if they're like to the waist, and a Space Marine's like 7.5 feet tall, that's like halfway, 3.7. I don't know, whatever.
Yeah.
Point being is that the little Watcher boys, they're just these. It actually kind of works out because the Dark Angels are Mr. Mysterious and Mr. We have a million secrets. So having these unknown, creepy little attendants, I think is actually pretty cool and very much goes along with their lore.
Oh yeah, definitely. If they're all about their secrets, then that fits perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, it works out. And also they don't like chaos. They seem to be very they're very opposed to chaos and opposed to like the powers of the warp, which is probably why they are also, you know, kind of immune to it. And
Right.
which is ironic because everyone calls Dark Angels heretics. But that's a side joke.
Yes, it is. But yeah, I mean, doesn't everybody hate chaos? Well, everybody that's not, a part of chaos or living in the warp. Everybody hates chaos.
Everybody that is a part of any form of what is it, like society, most likely, yes.
Yeah, not
For
not
we
big
do
fans of
live in
chaos.
one.
We do indeed live in a society. Thank you.
You
Fair
want to
enough.
hear
You
about
got
the
me.
Thyrus?
Sure. Let's hear about the Thyrus. Do they have thick thighs that save lives?
No, they don't.
Oh man, worst Xenos faction.
The Thyrus are really weird. They're a squid-like alien species that are a
Oh
little
no.
bit like Harlequins who see war as a performance.
Huh.
And so instead of making decisions to inflict casualties, they make tactical decisions that are based on spectacle. So when they try to kill
Okay.
things, they like what makes biggest boom or what would look the prettiest.
Okay. Okay. Oh my
They've
god,
all
is that what these things look like?
they have also got big smiley mouth teeth and
Holy
tons of arms
shit.
and a weird carapace.
Oh my god. When you said squid people, I was imagining like have you ever seen like a mind flayer in Final Fantasy? They
Yeah,
they got
yeah, yeah.
That's what I was thinking, like sort of the squid head but kind of a human-ish body. I was not expecting this big fucking bug-looking
No,
motherfucker.
they're like hunters from Halo, like a culmination of like worms.
Oh boy, that's gross. Those things are disgusting. I hate them. I hate them.
They're kind
Also,
of funny though. Like their
mm,
weaponry is surprisingly like insanely devastating, but they're too busy on making it look cool.
yeah, Shy said their weapons are super powerful, and they could have kicked a lot more ass if they weren't constantly making horrible decisions to show them off for fun.
The guard apparently knows them as squiddies.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Thyrus Warrior, degenerate slime-coated scum, slow-moving, inefficient, physically stunted, and barely sentient. A poor challenger to mankind's destiny. Give the squiddies no quarter.
It's weird on that poster. It makes it look like the squiddies are very small, and that picture makes them look very big.
I think that might be one of like the guardsman's primers. So the guardsman has like a
Oh,
handbook, and it's very like 40s
inaccurate.
propaganda kind of thing. It's very
Right,
inaccurate.
right.
Like
Gotcha.
Eldar are known for being slow and dumb. Just shoot them.
That's right. Their handbook is notoriously bad at giving decent information. Yeah.
Yes, orcs are bad in melee combat. Go punch them. Pretty
Oh,
bad
bad
concepts.
advice. Really bad advice. Holy shit.
But
Oh.
the weird squiddies, they have they're like their names are very theater like. The Thyrus Warriors, they're also known as soliloquins. So soliloquy, they
Oh.
have like prop masters, which is a
Okay.
term for them as well. They're very much like a theater act, but they're a theater act of horrifying squid monsters, which is
Yeah.
kind of cool in a weird way.
Yeah, looking at them, they're not the Xenos that you would expect to be like, oh, let's put on a show, let's make everything spectacle and pretty and like they look like a horror chaos demon. Like if you showed me that picture of them, I'd be like, oh, that's got to be some stupid chaos faction, like a Zinch thing or whatever. Um, would not expect them to be all about the spectacle at all. I would expect them to be eating people's heads and then sucking out the insides.
They might be doing that still, but they'll be doing it with like a stage light.
That's fair enough. Fair
All
enough.
right, let's talk about
They're
something
weird.
a little creepier.
Oh boy.
Let's talk about the Rak Gull.
Okay, the rat gull. All right, they
The
sound weird.
Rak Gull or Rak Gull. Quote from the recovered Vox data of a merchant. Static, they're coming through the walls. We've lost the engineerium, the port gun deck. Urgent assistance required. We need heavier arms. Quote, screeching sounds interlaced with rapid shot cannon fire. God Emperor save me. They've cuts off.
Oh, well, that sounds awful.
The Rak Gull are fucking horrid. They imagine they're like the Drukhari, which is already not good.
Yeah, it's very bad to be compared to them. Sure.
But they have 8 limbs
Oh
and
no.
like no eyes and a big metal mouth.
Oh.
These dudes look fucking
Oh.
awesome. I am so
Whoa.
sad they don't have minis because these dudes look so boss.
Whoa. Jesus. Those things do look dope as hell.
Say
Look like
Jesus
they
one more
should
time for the
be.
bingo card.
Jesus.
Yeah, okay. We got it.
But yet they look so dope. They look like they should be like some in like an aliens movie, like a xenomorph almost.
Little bit, yeah.
They don't quite have the head, right? They don't have that long, elongated, weird xenomorph head, but they look that's cool. Look like a cross between like a person, a reptile, and a spider.
Yeah, they're kind of reptilian. That's one of their
Mm-hmm.
main things. They're Xenos Marauders, and they're relatively new, a little bit adjacent to the a sector basically, but they were countered only about like 100 years back, give or take.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
they're very much near this large expanse of halo stars, and they're just kind of out there somewhere in the deep in the dark. Don't really know where or how, but they kind of come on out, and they're very much like a little bit like Drukhari, where they seem to be around entirely for the want to slaughter.
Okay.
So they descend on like a ship, which by the way, their ships are really cool looking. They have this weird like curvature. They almost look like giant knives.
Yo, those are so sick. Those are way cooler than the Imperium ships. A lot bigger too.
Yeah, they're super creepy. Another quote is, "They come out from beyond the light of the Emperor, savages who will skin you while you watch. There is no escape.
Oh,
They will consume us all." Survivor of a Rak Gull attack. I mean,
man.
obviously, this ain't for us. This ain't shit to Night Lords, but it doesn't really matter. Point being is that they're actually quite a threat. Now, granted, anything against the full might of the Imperium is chump change because the Imperium is laughably large.
Sure.
But you know, if you are a merchant ship or even a small Imperial fleet and you come into contact with these guys, you're gonna have a bad time.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's weird. Like that one picture shows them with like sort of like really rustic looking weapons, like just an axe and a couple of like whatever looking guns. But like their ships look so high tech that I'm kind of surprised that they use such crude weapons. Like I'd expect them to have like these big ass laser guns or like a fucking a chainsword or something, but they just kind of have like an axe, shotgun, pistol.
Well, if you look on the top picture, they kind of have like metal armor. As you can see, it's
Oh
kind of
yeah, they
draped around their
do.
body.
Yeah,
Though I'm
yeah.
imagining, looking at the knives they have on their arms, that's probably like used for skinning.
Yeah.
Because let's not forget the reason why they're around. They're there just to really slaughter people and have a good time with it.
Yeah. Did they do any crazy rituals like the Drukhari do, where like the Drukhari will like turn you into a sofa for all of eternity, or did they just like, we skinned you, hooray, that was fun, move on?
They're more so. They kind of remind me a little bit of like Krogans,
Ah,
where their society is brutal, but they're like kind of like beast, a primal beast, that have simply progressed to a higher state of technology. But I think that they're very like, I think they have like a hierarchical system. They probably kill each other to get like on top of one another. That's my assumption.
Okay.
Quote, the technology of the Rackle is so ramshackle, primitive, and generally poor in quality that it makes the Orcs' designs look ingenious. Their ships are among the few still using nuclear fission reactors in the 41st millennium, as compared to the Imperium's plasma fusion. In fact, these aren't even good fission reactors. They regularly leak such massive amounts of radiation that any normal human would be killed almost instantly.
That's so weird because their ships look so much cooler than the Imperium. I just thought they were more technologically advanced because the ships look so much fucking cooler.
Well, they're constantly showing signs of high amounts of radiation and warp taint on their bodies. The radiation, we know where that came from. The warp taint, however, that's an interesting possibility. They a lot of they implant themselves with other additional upgrades, like other maybe that metal guy on the top actually has that armor implanted onto him. But things like that, they tend to, it's really weird. They have some super creepy looking shit. They kind of remind me of like a combination of what were the names of those things in Firefly, the creepy marauders?
Oh, shit. The Reavers?
Yeah, Reavers or something along those lines.
Yeah.
They kind of remind me of that mixed in with a little bit of Alien. For example, check out this fucking dude. This is it's called a render, and it does what you think it does.
It renders flesh and
He's even got like
anything.
He's even got like a chainsaw arm.
Yeah, he has an arm that's holding an arm that he sawed off of someone. That's a great picture. That is a fantastic picture.
They have like techno shamans, which is kind of interesting. They have like these ships. Like this is another picture of the ships.
The ships look so cool. Oh my god.
They're really dope. I really like these ships. I'm sad I didn't know about these guys earlier.
That's probably my favorite ship design that I've seen so far. Those look really sick.
They're legitimately like Xenos combined with almost a little bit of Predator, like for their hunt, you know.
So technologically, they are not very advanced. They just steal shit, and they kind of ramshackle everything together, like pseudo orcish.
I don't know how ramshackle it is technically because they probably don't have the power of belief like orcs do.
Yeah.
I mean, they use nuclear reactors, so they're basically using what is akin to our current 21st century nuclear reactors, except it's just leaking radiation like mad.
Yeah, but they're using our tech in 40K. Like that's,
which would basically be primitive.
Yeah, that'd be like sticks and stones and yeah.
Granted, they do have spaceships though.
They do. They're spacefaring.
They are. They have boarding vessels apparently because they obviously get in the enemy ship somehow. They're weird little bastards, but they're super cool. I wish they had more.
I wouldn't mind if they made an actual codex and like an actual army for these guys because they're so dope.
I would take even a small variant. I'd go with like what the Harlequins currently have, which is literally only 9 models and a small bit of rules. I'd take that for these guys.
Yeah, they're cool. They're really dope.
They are surprisingly interesting. I like it a lot.
Yeah, if they get shit done, who cares if they're maybe not as technologically advanced?
There is one final Xenos race I wanted to talk about. There's not much lore on them, but they're pretty horrifying.
Okay.
These are known as the Umbra. Umbra.
Oh, good old Excalibur, huh?
I guess that's one way to put it. Yeah. No, I got that. I got it.
All right. It's been a while, you know. I don't.
I'll play no Warfare. So the Umbra are a non-humanoid alien species that are immensely hostile. And
As most Xenos are.
as most Xenos can be, and they're very weird. They're actually, in a sense, their anatomy is just a strange black sphere.
Oh.
However,
I see why they're called Umbras.
however, they have the uncanny ability to control the shadows.
Oh no. Oh no. I
And
don't like that.
and through useful manipulation of said shadows, they turn into like grotesque, fleshy shadow creatures that consistently grow and evolve and mutate due to the shifting shadows.
Oh,
Uh,
wow.
picture Shy put up top. If you ever played
Oh.
Darkest Dungeon,
Yeah, a little bit. Not a ton, but I played a little bit.
did you remember that flesh boss that was like 4 different pieces of flesh that would constantly contort?
I do not,
All right, Shy
unfortunately.
knows what I'm talking about. I'm sure she'll put a
Mhm.
picture. But it's almost like that, but with like fleshy shadows.
Oh, that's so gross. That's very cool though. That's super edgy, super cool. That picture reminds me a lot of like Venom and like Spider-Man symbiotes.
A little bit, kind of has that similar vibe to it with like the holes in the flesh and the sinew kind of being
Yep.
stretched out. Also,
Yep.
those guys that are getting fucked are Ultramarines, so you know.
Oh man, do I love the Umbra. Great. Best Xenos faction I've ever seen. God, I bet they have just the most pure intentions. I bet they were just minding their own business, and everybody, I love the Umbra.
I love the Umbra. Mm-hmm.
What? They are very cool, though. You got to
They
admit,
are
they're very
they are
edgy. They're very cool. Um, like I said, if you're a fan of Venom, I see no reason why you shouldn't be a fan of an Umbra.
these things are super neat. It's actually rather interesting, but the concept is that the physical form themselves, yes, Shy, that's the image. Very good, you got it. Um,
Oh, those
is
are gross.
actually like a small reflection of the actual creature, where the rest probably exists in a separate dimension, probably the warp.
Oh, yeah. I was gonna
So there,
say.
it's almost like a shadowy, fleshy iceberg, where the actual creature is
Oh,
being stifled, almost like a funnel, and into the material realm through the shadows. And so, unless you're in pitch darkness, it'll never really be able to be itself.
mm-hmm.
In fact, upon one of the Magos was able to capture one and was only able to really fuck around with it by lighting an entire room full with light
Yeah.
to
So
remove
there's
any
no shadows. Yeah.
yeah. And because of that, he was able to dissect it, which is that little black and white image you see up there, and
Oh,
it
okay.
has that weird like little goopiness on the inside.
Yeah,
Um,
the creamy center. Yeah.
it looks like a fucking malt ball.
It does.
But so that was kind of the little weird specimen that it was. And
Oh no! Now I can only see that as like the Tootsie Roll Pop. Like, how many licks does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Roll Pop? You
depends on how
don't
well
know.
how we be not afraid.
It's gross. It's like a
They're
Cadbury cream egg.
they're actually really creepy. Apparently, there's a questionable text by a self-confessed heretic that speaks of a quote-unquote war in heaven between star devils and gods, which
Ah,
we know what that is.
yeah,